Welcome to your Barbados Today Evening News Update for Thursday, December 5th. Thanks for joining us. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Starting tomorrow, visitors will not be allowed to visit the Geriatric Hospital. According to a government notice, an outbreak of a respiratory illness has forced the temporary suspension at the Beccles Road St. Michael facility. The notice stipulates that visitors will not be allowed on wards 6B, 7B, 8B, 9B, and 10B. In addition, the daycare program has also been suspended until further notice. Hospital management assures it will notify the public as soon as visiting hours can be restored and daycare services resume. Strong support for the proposed People's Assemblies as the Thorn Commission held its fourth meeting at the West Terrace Primary School last night. Members of the public agreed it's a good idea, but they were adamant the Assemblies must not be another talk shop or political football. The Assemblies are intended to help improve accountability in governance, establish high standards in the public service, deliver critical services to communities, and protect neighborhood welfare. Several speakers also made it clear there's no room for politics.
The goal of the Commission is essentially to have a local governance system that is not governed by partisan politics. Fine, I agree with that. But we must recognize that the local governance system operates within a political structure and system that is highly partisan. So how do you have a parliament that is structured to be partisan, a cabinet that is structured to be partisan, media outlets that are highly partisan, political culture that is highly partisan, and then all of a sudden we're going to come in a room, call it local governance, and we forget all about these structures, we forget all about this culture, we forget all about the things that have made our understanding of politics one that is partisan. It is not going to happen like that. So before we talk about local governance, we need to look at national governance and how do we make it less partisan and more conciliatory and more engaging and more participating from persons of opposing views.
I like the idea of having a People's Assembly. That is something came out from CLR James long ago. CLR James suggested that we should have People's Assemblies. And not political parties. But I am saying you cannot have, as the youngster said, or somebody said it here again, a party trying to set up a political assemblies, and then above there, you have politics, party politics above. So I am saying that you have to therefore decide whether you have to eventually self-destruct the parties. The party will have to self-destruct so that from the People's Assembly, you move upwards into what I would call a board of directors of Barbados.
We need to seriously look at governance in Barbados from the executive right down to what we consider to be local government. And I think that if we do that, it will create the conditions for local government to have some kind of strong political power. Because you don't want to create the conditions for local government and it becomes just a community group just functioning and getting a subvention from government and you're not giving the people of Barbados serious political power that they can create the conditions for their own development.
The Democratic Labour Party is mourning the passing of party stalwart and veteran politician Sir Warwick Franklin. Sir Warwick represented the party for 3 terms in the St. Philip North constituency and served the country as Minister of Agriculture, Food and Fisheries. He also held the portfolios of Labour and Consumer Affairs. DLP President Vola de Pisa noted that he was part of a generation of politicians who practice people-centered politics, as she praised his contribution to the development of agriculture. In her tribute, Prime Minister Mia Mottley said while they operated on different sides of the political divide, Sir Warwick practiced his craft with respect for opponents without descending into the gutter that has often characterized politics. It's the season of goodwill, and today patients on Ward C12 received a Christmas treat from members of Cancer Support Services who delivered gifts, a delightful meal and comfort. Public Relations Officer of Cancer Support Services, Antoine Williams, says it's always a joy to give back and bring cheer to others.
It's a feel-good moment, and one must understand that in the moment of sickness and despair, Christmas brings a lot of pleasant memories. Mind you, it also brings unpleasant memories, but we're not focusing on those. So this is really our way of lifting their spirits, even if it is for just 1 hour. All right? I can't speak about the patients themselves, but we are always mindful that some of them are, as the saying goes, on their way out. So as I said, it really is a lifting of spirits. That's really that it is. We also give gifts to the nurses and to the patients. All right? And of course, there's the sharing of the lunch.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
It's Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Craft Center. Kick off the weekend this Friday from 4 p.m. to midnight with loads of food, drinks, and entertainment. Get ready for Crop Over with the Rhythm Roots Street Parade. Party like it's Kadooman Day on the street around Pelican Village with costume reveler, music, and more. It's Festive Friday. It's Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Village Center from 4 p.m. to midnight. Admission free.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Welcome back to Regional News. Now all eyes on Dominica on the eve of tomorrow's general election. Campaigning has been marred by violence and allegations about the conduct of the electoral process. Today there were reports that 2 people were shot and injured in Salisbury amid protests to block roads leading from the airport. But the island's 2 main political leaders are both confident of victory. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit remains optimistic that the Dominica Labour Party will secure a 4th straight term despite the protests in some sections of the island.
Them fellas polls say they're winning. Them fellas say they're winning, but they don't want to have elections, ladies and gentlemen. They don't want to have elections. If you say you're winning, you should be saying the 6 too far away. But you know, they know they're gonna get licks on Friday night. Licks on Friday. Because the people of Dominica know, that we are safer with the Dominica Labour Party.
At the same time, Lennox Linton is confident his United Workers' Party can unseat the government, even as he insists that the election is not free and fair.
I say not free because we now have a number of policemen and army personnel from a number of CARICOM countries. Here we are told under the regional security system to maintain law and order in the run up to the poll. The Prime Minister confirmed last night their presence on the island, and shortly after they arrived here, we woke up this morning to news of people in Salisbury constituency being tear gassed at 4 o'clock in the morning, and all sorts of disruption taking place there in what appears to be a standoff with the police and the police authority.
On the international scene, France's largest nationwide strike in years has severely disrupted schools and transport. Workers are angry about planned pension reforms that would see them retiring later or facing reduced payouts. More than 800,000 workers from a wide range of professions demonstrated against the changes. Some cities saw clashes between protesters and police. President Emmanuel Macron wants to introduce a universal points-based pension system. And that's news. But for the very latest, visit us at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good evening.